Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome back here to the 613 Studios. I'm your golden boy. Over here on my left-hand side, we have Zazu.
Zazu.
And in the middle, we have a special guest today from Sweet Salt Records, local folk record label here in Salt Lake City. His name is Tom Bennett.
Hey, what's up, everybody listening? How you guys doing?
Woo.
Just like a cow, man.
Right.
Moo. That's okay, though.
Milky. Shit's all milky.
So, today in our show, what we're going to be talking about is a little bit of predictions of what we're going to be seeing in 2014 through Zazu and the Golden Boy's eyes.
The good eyes.
The good eyes, the ones that actually matter.
Crooked
Our
and
opinions
blurry.
are the only ones you should be listening to, I believe. But, and also, Tom's got a pretty good story that he'd like to let you guys know about.
Let me tell you a story.
But the whole reason why the Sweet Salt Records exists, he's out there promoting and pushing these new local, not even new, these people that have been around here for a long time, these singer-songwriters, little bands and everything. Not even little bands, they're pretty big, aren't they?
Some of them are pretty good, man. Pretty good.
And not only that, after we've got Tom Bennett, we'll be interviewing another guy named William G. Kidd. He's a local artist as well from out of state. And we'll be interviewing him and finding out a little bit more about him and hearing some of his music and some of his stories. But before we start doing that, we're going to go ahead and get you guys started with Tom Bennett. And we're going to get to know Tom Bennett and what he's all about.
So I'm going to lay back on this psychiatric couch and just tell it.
It is a good it's a leather couch.
Hey man, those feet pull out too, dog.
It's a good couch.
They do pull out. That's what you should do every time too.
Just pull out.
Don't procreate.
Yeah.
Ask
Hey,
for
you
permission.
can't pull out without permission.
Hey, is this all right, girl?
But anyways, why don't you just go ahead and, I don't know, where are you from anyways? Where are you from originally?
I'm from a little town called Villarica, Georgia. I was born in Decatur in Atlanta, kind of East Atlanta, and then moved out to the country, a little town called Villarica. Is famous for being the site of the first Georgia gold rush in 1845.
In 1845, huh?
I love that gold.
Well, what I was wondering is I actually saw an interview article about you in City Weekly from Salt Lake City.
Yeah.
And in that article, it actually said some stuff about you coming over to Utah as an LDS missionary. And
I
to be
was
honest
for a
with
little
you,
bit.
I never knew that until I
Yeah,
read that
not
article.
I had
everybody
no
knows
idea.
that. If you know me, you find that surprising because
Yeah.
you know, I do some things that I've done things that don't correlate with that too well.
What do you mean correlate with that? Like,
Well, you know,
how did you go from being an LDS missionary to finding yourself here in Salt Lake City years later, starting a record label?
Life's a broad road, man. In short, I was in Georgia and had some kind of mystical experiences, I guess you could say, and ended up becoming a Latter-day Saint when I was 17. Came out to the West as a missionary.
Did it have anything to do with the girl?
No, it had to do
Well,
with
that's
my LDS experience was inspired by LSD in a way. But I came out west for 2 years as a Mormon missionary and loved the West. So I went back to Georgia after the 2 years and packed all my things in my car and headed out west, and have been out here forever since then, you know, traveling around. And
So you've been here for about how long? How many years?
I guess about 10, 12 years, something like that. I've lost count, but, you know, long enough that I feel like Salt Lake's home, you know.
Well, I know I met you about a little over 10 years ago, so
Yeah.
you've probably been here 12, 13, I'm thinking.
Yeah, something like that. A while.
Well, what makes you even want to do what you're doing now? Like, why now? What's with the labels?
Where's the inspiration coming
yeah,
from?
Like,
that's
why
what-
this sudden jolt of just motivation to do what you're doing?
Well, I guess it all started with back in April. I was going through something that I could have either dealt with it by, you know, negative or positive ways. I guess you could say I could have drank and gone down a dark path, but I decided to pick up a guitar. I'd never really played much before, and it, you know, just kind of enjoyed learning how to play guitar a little bit, and started playing down at Pioneer Park in Salt Lake City for people that were out in the streets, having food together and playing, and ended up booking a night at an old hotel called the Peary. It's a really nice place in Salt
That
Lake.
scary
Well, how
old
long-
haunted place downtown.
Yeah.
How long ago did you start playing this guitar?
I started in April of 2013, and now it's the end of December. So
Well, I was also reading in your article that you had in City Weekly. I think it was the last week's edition, 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago. I can't remember when it exactly came out. We'll have to get a
was like
fact
2
checker
weeks ago.
on
we
that.
need to get a
Like-
fact check.
fact check.
So I was also reading in that article about some of the stuff that you had to deal with in order to get this stuff rolling, and you went to Georgia to go find your roots or something, and came across
your
great grandfather. And I read this epic story, and they covered it pretty good. But
yeah, they did. They did a good job. So,
but would you tell us about it? Because I would rather hear it from your mouth. And
after I started playing guitar, I talked to my grandmother on the phone. We're all pretty close in Georgia, you know. And I was telling her about how I started playing guitar, and she said, "Man, you remind me of your great grandpa, Roy Ferguson." And she said that a lot throughout my life. And I never knew Roy. He died in 1973, but he was my great grandfather. And I was told that he was kind of a country folk singer, traveled around the state recording people. Old reel-to-reel recorder back in the 40s, 50s. He came out of town in North Georgia mountains. Was well known around there. Got to play on the Grand Ole Opry one time, and then passed away in 1973 in the parking lot of a Holiday Inn.
Holiday Inn.
Did he ever get one of those records that they made that are really etched in a big old thick record? Has a megaphone that comes out of it, and you rock it up and roll.
War II,
I know he did record some reel-to-reels and some 8-tracks, and that's what took me to Georgia. Is my grandmother said he's got some 8-tracks that we don't know where they are. They're out there somewhere. He recorded all the time. So it was opportune timing for me to fly out to Georgia. Somebody said, "You really got to take a movie camera with you." So I borrowed a camera, went down there, and for 9 days tracked down people who might have known Roy Ferguson in his lifetime. I went down to Georgia, tracking down recordings of my great-grandfather Roy Ferguson based on conversations I had with my grandmother Jean Dobbs. So I went down there, took a movie camera, traveled around for 9 days through old cemeteries, small towns. The town of Cedartown, Georgia was a focal point. That's where he came out of, and spent most of his time between there and Atlanta. And ended up meeting a man named C.R. Martin, 86-year-old guy, total awesome man. Had a memory he just knew everything that had happened. We talked for hours. He sang me old songs that Roy played and shared stories with me, just mind-blowing stories that would totally take this another direction if I were to go with him. But anyway, he said, "Let me go get something for you." Went up to his attic, came back a while later with this dusty old white plastic Walmart bag. And I'm like, "What?"
They had Walmarts back in the 40s?
No, this wasn't from the 40s. This was from the from the 60s and 70s. So
they did have Walmarts back in the 40s, though.
I don't know. Maybe they did. Maybe they
Sam
did.
Walton's a very intelligent man.
Walmart.
So anyways, like I was saying, I was reading your article a lot, and that's kind of where I'm pulling all my information out of. But I also saw in your article that you referred to something like you guys were starting a venue somewhere downtown Salt Lake City.
Yeah.
What's that about, and when are you guys thinking about having that done?
Well, I brought that tape back and had it restored, and that kind of started creating this idea of a record label, because I wanted to release those recordings, plus other people that I'd met in Salt Lake that were extremely talented. And somebody contacted me that runs a restaurant, a small restaurant, and they wanted to create a partnership with the new Sweet Salt Records that I'd started, and work together to open a cafe music venue in the heart of the city. And we've moved forward with that, and we're signing papers and meeting with people and getting that rolling.
When are you guys expecting to have that thing up and going?
We're gonna have our grand opening sometime in the spring, but we're moving in there
spring of 2014.
Yeah, spring of 2014. But we're moving in there very soon, and we're gonna start playing music as soon as we get in.
So when you get this venue and stuff, I think you were talking about having like a release party of your grandfather's. Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
because you said to me that you found somebody that could remaster that.
Yeah, we had the album restored. It was a very extensive process, but we had the album repaired and restored.
Who was able to do that for you?
A man named Greg Nielsen did that for me. He's a jazz saxophone player based out of Salt Lake City, and somebody I met through just local music, and he literally painstakingly, inch by inch, went through the tape, restoring and repairing it. And now we've got those recordings, and we're going to have local artists learn the songs, and we're going to release a little album with Roy's recordings and then recreated, reworked renditions of those songs.
So is this like the only thing you're doing? You got a day job? I mean, how do you find all the time for this?
Yeah, I got a
how do you
day
pay
job.
for it? I mean, you
I
work.
just hustle, man, just work, and I got some good people working with me.
All right, completely off the topic. Are you single?
Well, I love the ladies. Yeah, I'm single.
Yeah, you're single. Huh?
Yeah, man. Okay.
I'm not single. I
All
got
right.
all the ladies.
So-
Free.
so
I'm
you're
not
single.
single. I'm free.
So you're single. Well, then why don't you with all the headlines, all this crazy stuff going on in Utah about the LGBT/S plural community. How do you feel about them getting the right to marry and share that burden?
I think consenting adults should be able to do what they want to do.
Absolutely.
That's
Yeah?
what I think.
Well, you don't have a problem with none of it?
Nah, I don't have a problem
Where do you
with
stand with it? Are you open to all of that?
So, do you want to get married?
I don't care about any of that stuff.
Whatever that
all that stuff
means.
happens.
You're cool with that, huh?
I'm cool with it, man. I know a ton of polygamists. I know a ton of gay people. All good
Well,
for them, man.
if you know Salt Lake City like I do, I mean, it's a super diverse crowd. It's not
It is.
Mormons and buttercups and unicorns as
No.
much as everyone likes to think it is. It's actually a pretty diehard city with a lot of stuff
Buttercups
going
and
on.
unicorns.
Yeah, man.
I mean, that's exactly
What do you
how
s-
I perceive
yeah,
Salt
what do you,
Lake
what do you
City.
see when you see stuff about Salt Lake City? You think Mormons and pollution,
I think
bad
yeah,
air,
yeah.
I think really
good snow,
And
the
there's a lot
greatest
of
snow
bad
on
air.
earth until the next day.
Black snow.
and black snow,
It
but your
turns
tongue
black.
get sick for a week.
Jiminy cricket.
Swine flu was created here, I think.
The swine flu.
Yeah.
Damn. That's
Well,
some
I don't know if it's true or not.
fact check.
I think
Fact
Wes,
check.
I think Wes
Well-
Niles from here too.
I heard someone say a long time ago, the day we have a black president, that's the day pigs are going to fly. All of a sudden, Obama gets elected, and then we got swine flu.
There you go.
I don't know if that's in any way, shape, or form related though.
Fact check.
Fact checkers, yeah. That would
Swine's
probably
flu,
help.
man.
He's awesome. Look at all the good
Hey,
he's
I'm
done.
just stating a
Look at
fact.
all the good he's done.
That's
He's a
a
politician.
Yeah.
He's done a lot of great.
Well, anyways, I know you got a couple of songs that we
I
wanted
do.
you to play. So before we get into you playing your set, I just want to thank you for coming down to the studio today.
Thanks for
and,
having me, man.
and to be honest with you, we'll have more opportunities with you in the future, I'm sure, and we'll be coming out to your shows. I mean, what do you guys got going on the next month or two? Is there any shows you guys got going on?
yeah,
to plug, or?
we got a showcase that we do every Wednesday night at Zest in Salt Lake City. It's an all local organic restaurant. It's a really cool place. I mean, you could sit down with the farmer who grew the food. You know what I mean?
Huh?
You could sit down with the farmer who grew the food. She's often there.
Oh,
Melee.
she.
Yeah,
When
her
you say
name's Melee.
farmer, I naturally think of a man for
No,
some
she's a
reason. That's
Polynesian
rude.
woman.
Sorry.
She's awesome. We're good friends. But anyway, yeah, I do Zest every Wednesday night with Sweet Salt Records, a little showcase of artists, showing the best off that we got. And then we do a once-a-month show at Bar Deluxe called A Rowdy Old Time. We actually did that last night, and it was awesome. We had poetry, we had live music, we had Zazu and the Golden Boy.
Who are they?
I don't know.
Who are those
I don't know,
assholes?
man. I don't know who they are. They keep it provocative.
Yeah.
They keep it provocative and
Ah.
mysterious. Yeah, and we're opening the venue, like we said. We got shows at the Woodshed. We're doing a big art night that we're gonna start doing once a month. The first one's January 2nd, so it's gonna be all over the place.
Well, I also know that you play with other artists around town that you don't have affiliation with, like Tony Holiday,
Yeah.
and Murrieta, and a handful of other bands I know that you're going to be involved with for New Year's, and I
Tons
think
of
even
people.
tonight at the State Room on State Street in Salt Lake.
Yep, playing with Tony Holiday at the State Room in Salt Lake City tonight. It's my first time playing there. Very fine venue. I'm looking forward to it. Honored to be part of that show.
Just so you know, tonight is December 28th.
28th, 29th,
Yeah,
something like that.
December 28th.
Yep.
Getting ready to launch this podcast here in the next couple of weeks for everybody, and just trying to get everyone the rundown on what's going on.